If you move the middle turbinate very aggressively here, that is where it will crack. If it cracks here, nothing will happen. There will be no leak because it's not attached to the cripple front plate. Okay, so that is the middle turbinate. 1A attachment and 1. So that's one more time I'll just show you. That's its 1A attachment and the 1 attachment you've seen. It's there. Okay. Now if you go beyond, that's first of all this is the middle meatus, that's the middle turbinate, that's the uncinate, and that's the bulla. See how the uncinate, like I told you, is attached by feet, and this portion of the uncinate which is attaching to the lamina papilla gives rise to the recessus terminalis, and the frontal sinus will open here medially. We'll talk about it in great detail tomorrow, and that's the bulla. Okay. Now if you go beyond, so this attachment which is going towards the lamina papilla from behind the bulla is the second attachment, or rather attachment 2 that they talk about. Okay, so that's the ground lamella, and this attachment here to the palatine bone is the third attachment. Part of the middle turbinate is broken over here. These are the fontanelles like we spoke about. This is the anterior inferior fontanelle, that's the uncinate process, the attachments, the anterior inferior fontanelle, and if you look here beyond that, that's the posterior superior. Okay, so the two fontanelles in the right place. Now, the sphenoid ostium we find has a triad of anatomical landmarks. The triad of anatomical landmarks are that it is, okay, before we go to the trial of anatomical landmarks, look at this. That's the roof of the choana. That is the sphenoid. Okay, so that's the basisphenoid. Look at this. This is the medial pterygoid plate, or rather, this is the palatine bone, and this is the medial pterygoid plate. Can you see this? This is the vaginal process of the medial pterygoid plate. This is the ala of the womb, and therefore the vomerovaginal canal. And as it comes in front, that's the palatine bone, so the palatovaginal. Can you make that out? Any questions over here? Is it clear? Okay. So that's the choana. And so if you were to look at for the sphenoid ostium, so the triad is this, about 1 to 1.5 centimeters above the choana, the roof of the choana, close to the septum, and overhung by the superior turbinate. So that's the triad. So always the superior turbinate partially overhangs it. And so if you want to widen the entire sphenoid ostium, you may have to trim the lower half of the superior turbinate. Never the upper half, because otherwise olfaction is affected. Okay. Now I said 1 to 1.5 centimeters above. This is the only place where I use a measurement, because both those landmarks are fixed. But I never use measurements, and in fact now none of us use measurements. There was a time when we had suctions which had measurements on it, and you'd say that it is 7 inches away, 7 centimeters away, because everyone's head is shaped differently. So obviously those measurements are going to be different. So don't use measurements ever. That's the sphenopalatine foramen. The middle turbinate comes all the way up to here. Okay, the mucosal middle turbinate comes all the way up. That's the orbital process of the palatine bone. That's the sphenoidal process. This is the sphenopalatine notch. This is the sphenopalatine foramen with the sphenoid bone closing it off. And this is the Vidian canal seen in the pterygopalatine fossa. This we skip. This we skip. Okay, now finally to the end of it. Who is this? Anyone? Does anyone know Phantom? Okay, so some of you know Phantom. Okay, so Phantom was a vigilante. He protected the weak, the poor from the corrupt and the rich, and he wore a mask, so everyone thought he was immortal. But when he died, the sun took over, and the sun was called Kit, right? And when sun took over and became the new Phantom, he took an oath on the skull, the human skull, to say that I will always protect the weak, the poor, I will always fight against evil. So if you want to be a good endoscopic sinus surgeon or a good skull based surgeon, You have to take an oath on that human skull. And you need to know osteology like the back of your hand. Okay? So thank you.